the Commander-in-Chief and the President of EFF, Julius Malema.
Amandla! Amandla! Viva EFF, viva! Tata EFF, tata! Down with the DA, down! Down with the ANC, down! Amandla! Thank you very much. Ndiyabulela sihlalo. Ndibulise abugogo nabumkhulu. Ndibulise ama ground forces of the EFF in Mossel Bay and the whole of Southern Cape. And greet our National Commissar, Dr. Susan, who's here, with our provincial leadership, the regional leadership. We are here today to make it very clear that 29 May, we are going to make the right choice, because we will never have this opportunity again. So we must grab it with both hands on the 29th of May. We are here to say the suffering and the pain of our people must come to an end, because our people live in their own country as if they are foreigners, as if they were brought here with a ship. But the people who came here with a ship are living comfortably in our own land, in our own country, and we live like animals. So that must come to an end on the 29th of May. Fighters, we want you to have your land back. We can't have the land owned by one individual or two individuals. The whole Nail owns Mossel Bay, all of it, but the people combined don't even own 5 hectares. We cannot have one family owning so many hectares of land and our people do not have land. We want the land to build our people proper houses. We want the land for agriculture. We want the land for industries. We want the land for place of worship, for schools. We want our own land back because we were born here. This is our land and we make no apology about it. Fighters, we want the people who are found in Mountain View to have their own houses back and not buy them with 429,000 when their houses were meant for them for free of charge. We need those houses because it's important that our people are housed properly and no longer stay in rented places that they get easily dismissed and stay in the shacks. We want the resident of Marikana in Cuba to make sure that they leave the shacks and they go into those completed houses, because those houses are there and those houses are ready to be occupied. We will occupy them immediately after the 29th of May because they belong to you. They are your houses. They don't belong to the DA. They don't belong to the ANC. Those are people's houses. Fighters, we want to build proper houses for our people under the EFF. The EFF's plan for house is that it must have 3 bedrooms. It must have dining. It must have a kitchen. It must have a bathroom inside with a flushing toilet. Because a flushing toilet is not a luxury. It's a basic thing that all human beings must have. Fighters, there is no white man who go and help himself in the bush or in a toilet that doesn't flush. Why are our people being made to go to the toilets that are not flushing? We must make sure that we fight the issue of pit toilet and we give our people their dignity back. We must make sure that in each and every house We build proper houses, not four-corner houses that look like matchboxes. We want to build a house must have corners and jigas. It must not be too obvious. Even the roof must show that the people who stay here are dignified people. It must have a ceiling inside. It must have a passage inside, because a passage is not luxury. It's a division of activities. The bed activities must be on the other side, and the kitchen activities must be on the other side. So we want to put the houses that will make your children to be proud of their homes. When their friends want to visit them, they don't say, let's meet at Sasol Garage. They say, no, come to my home. This is my home, because they will be proud of those houses. When you divide them inside, you don't use one brick. You use 2 bricks, so that the activities of this other room must not be had on the other room. Unlike this ANC, DARDP houses, when you are in the other room can hear everything. You are trying to whisper to your wife, and she's laughing. The child says, Mama, what's happening in that side? We don't want those type of houses. We want houses that allow children to be children. Fighters, these houses must be on a big land, not the whole RDP occupying the whole stand, because that means there will never be future development on that land. So we need to give you RDP house on a big land to allow you to dream. You must continue to dream. You must get out of your house and say, let me do a vegetable garden. You must be able to stand outside your house and say, one day when I get money, I'll extend it like this. Unlike this one of the ANC, when you try to extend even with the imagination, you are already next door or you are on the road. So we don't need that. We want the land restored in your hands. And we must fight this racism of ownership of the land, that whites are the only ones with the land and our people don't have the land. Mossel Bay is well known for the oppression of our people. The racism here, you can touch it with your own hand. They want to divide the colored and African people. We must refuse that, because the success of the DA depends on the division amongst our people. We must unite in demand of our land. We must fight for jobs for everyone. Jobs must not go to DA members only. Jobs must not go to ANC members only. The jobs must be given to you, because you are a South African and you've got South African ID and the qualifications. We don't care which party you belong to. As long as you are the right person for the job, you must get that job. So we must guarantee the job security of our people. Not this EPWP of the ANC that is used to bribe people, and after elections you are not called back because you don't have a permanent appointment letter. We want you to work properly because your job is guaranteed. Comrades, all the security guards who look after municipal buildings, who look after the government departments and government facilities, are going to be insourced and work directly for the government, because these private companies are exploiting our security guards and the cleaners in government buildings. We are going to fight for their insourcing. We did it in Johannesburg, where we insourced the security guards. After insourcing those security guards, we realized we were paying 15,000 per security to the company, but the company gives the security guard 3,500. So we stopped that. We took those security in the Johannesburg municipality. We are now paying them 17,500 per month. They also have job security. They have leave days. They've got a pension fund. They've got a medical aid. How can a security who works with criminals not have a medical aid? Because they can be attacked at any time. They must be able to get a proper care. We did it at Vets University, where we insourced the cleaners who work at Vets University and the security guards. We made sure that those cleaners have the same rights as lecturers, because a lecturer is a worker and a cleaner is a worker too. They must all have the benefits. And the benefits were so unfair because the lecturers are paid high salaries, but their children are allowed to come to Vets University free of charge. Now we insourced those cleaners. Their children are now allowed to go to Vets University free of charge. Those are the benefits of insourcing. We must make sure that our people have got jobs and their jobs pay well. No one must work in the farms without job security. There must be job security, and no farmer must pay a worker with an alcohol. We want a pay slip to see how much do you pay each and every worker in your farm. The exploitation of our people in the farms must come to an end. We must defend their rights. Fighters, the taxi industry constitute the only business owned 100% by black people. We need to protect the taxi industry. We need to professionalize it. We need to guarantee salaries for the taxi drivers. How do you guarantee their salaries? The government must subsidize the taxis because they subsidize buses. They are subsidizing buses because they know buses are owned by white people. They take money to white people. They don't take money to black business that need that money desperately. So we are going to make sure that we protect the taxi industry. Even this thing of impounding their cars on some flimsy reasons is going to come to an end. This is our business, and we must make sure we defend it. Fighters, children must go to school free of charge. No child must pay for school. We need to start our children at early childhood development, which means we must build crèches in each and every ward so that children can go to school when they turn 3. Our children must not wait for too long to be exposed to education. White people's children go to school at 3 years. So ours must also go to school at 3 years. What we are doing today is unfair to these children. We leave them with Abu Gogo at home. And Abu Gogo, they are not trained to teach children. That's why even when they teach them how to speak, they speak to them in a foreign language which you also don't know. They're trying to teach a child to speak tate, tata. You like, what is this language? But the same child of a white person at 3 years is already being taught 1 + 1 is 2. Yours is going to see 1 + 1 for the first time at grade 1. And then it becomes difficult for them because they were exposed to education very late. So we need them very early at school so that we make better future for them. Also at primary and secondary, we must make sure that our children get free education. They must not pay any fees. You can't say the school is no fee school, but people must buy uniform. Uniform is part of the education. When you say education is free, it means everything that goes with education must be free. It can't be education free when it comes to school fees, and then when it comes to uniform, You have to pay. When they ask you, where will you get the money from? You must tell them we are going to take the money from where they are taking the money when they buy free uniform for prisoners. Prisoners get free uniform in jail. Our children don't get free uniform. Prisoners are given uniform every 6 months. They are even given a shoe called parabellum. That shoe, the leather is very strong. We are not asking for parabellum. We are asking for toughies for our children to go to school. If business people can be able to donate school shoes to our children, what stops government from giving those children school shoes? Even at the university, we must make sure that the education is free of charge. No child must pay for registration fee. No child must pay for tertiary education. No child must go to police station to do an affidavit that your mother is not working to prove. No one will be required to go around displaying your poverty. You want to go to Stellenbosch University, you must go directly without paying anything. UCT, everywhere else you want to go, education must be free. And when they ask you where your mom is working, you must ask them, are you looking for my mom or are you looking for my brain? If you want my brain, the results are here. They speak for my brain. So we want to make sure that all these children who go to school, there is a free Wi-Fi. We want you to have free Wi-Fi in the classrooms in schools, free Wi-Fi at the universities, lecture room, library, and the residences. Data is very expensive. And before we install free Wi-Fi, we are going to instruct Vodacom and MTN and all of them to cut their data by half because it's very expensive. You need free Wi-Fi because you must have access to information. They don't want you informed. They like you ignorant. That's why they don't give you the tools to access information. These kids who are standing before you here, they are on YouTube. They do podcast. But you won't know them because you don't have data. You don't have free Wi-Fi. When you leave Mossel Bay to Johannesburg for the first time, people get you human trafficked because you were never exposed to Johannesburg before you arrive in Johannesburg. We want you to know the world before you even leave your home, so that when you arrive there, you are quite aware of what you are dealing with. Information is power. The ANC with free Wi-Fi and the DA, they will be out of power. Because with free Wi-Fi, you are going to see the racism of the DA. You are going to see the corruption of the ANC. Because the ANC wakes up every morning to go and steal. That's what they know. When they are sleeping, they are planning, what are we stealing tomorrow? A group of thugs and group of criminals led by criminal called Cyril Ramaphosa. On the 29th, we must go and remove them. Fighters, we want a grant Yabugogo to increase to 4,000 rand upwards. Because Abogogo, they are responsible for all these houses in Mossel Bay. All of us, we were supported by Abogogo with the grant. So we must make sure we give them more money because they know how to use the money. They use the money on the poor of the poorest. On the payday, Abogogo, they don't buy a quart of bread and a can of Coke. They buy full chicken, the chicken that is alive, and a bag of meal, and put it behind the door to feed everyone. You think that bag of meal belongs to a family. Wait until a poor woman walks in and say, Gogo, I did not eat anything last night. They are going to share that meal with that particular person. You want soldiers who are going to fight poverty on the ground? Give Abu Gogo imali. They will fight poverty on the ground. Our children must get 1,000 rand child grant upward, because we must make sure these children are supported at home. When they arrive at school, they must eat breakfast, they must eat lunch. When they arrive at home, they must find supper, because we are now giving them 1,000 rand. So there must never be a period during the day where children are going around with an empty stomach. When I say we are going to increase the child grant, I'm not saying children must make children. Children must go to school. Education is going to be free of charge. We don't want teenage pregnancy. A child must go to school and not embarrass us. Fighters, Abu Gogo, they must not pay for water and electricity, because you give them money, you say they are poor. You give them a grant. You come through a back door and take the same grant away from them in the name of water and electricity. This government is the same government, whether it's a government of Western Cape or South Africa, is the same government. So they must say the Gogos who are getting social grant, they must be subsidized by the national government when it comes to water and electricity, because you can't support them half-half. You must support them fully. So we are going to make sure that Abu Gogo are supported fully and their dignity is restored. Fighters, this issue of the clinics, we want clinics that open 24/7. We don't want a clinic that closes at 4 o'clock. We don't get sick only during the day. Even at night we become sick. Women don't give birth during the day only. They also give birth at night. Why are clinics closing? Why is it a clinic if it doesn't have an ambulance? A clinic must have an ambulance. A clinic must have doctors. A clinic must have nurses. Today, we are told that there are no doctors, but they are unemployed doctors. Why are you not hiring those unemployed doctors and bring them to our communities where we need them the most? No doctor must be unemployed. We must build nursing colleges. We need nurses, because primary health care is the real issue we have to deal with. Comrades, ambulance is not some sophisticated thing. Ambulance is this thing called quantum or CIC. They take out the seats and put in the medical equipment with a bed. So if we can have so many CIS and quantums, it means we can have so many ambulances with ease, because it doesn't take a rocket scientist to produce an ambulance. So we are going to make sure we create our own ambulances for our own people. Comrades, why are you not asking yourself, why is South Africa not producing a car of its own? We assemble the cars of Mercedes-Benz, of VW, but we don't build our own car. But we build our own flying machine. We've got a fighter jet called Roy Falk. That fighter jet was built by Dinel here in South Africa. We make a machine to fly. When they say fly machine, they mean the machine flies. We can make the machine to fly, but we can't make a mobile machine. How are we not producing our own car? We must produce our own cars in South Africa if we want to create jobs in South Africa. Western Cape was known for textile industry. Today, the textile industry has collapsed in the Western Cape. We must revive it and give it back to our people to run it. We must open the closed factories and give them to our people. Fighters, we need to fight crime. We have a problem of crime. No one will invest where there is crime. You want employment, you want jobs, you want business opportunities. We must make sure that there is no crime. The EFF government is going to fight the crime that is happening because we are scaring the investors. Today, the murder rate of South Africa is higher than a country in a war. Ukraine's murder rate is lower than South Africa, but Ukraine is in a war, which means criminals have declared a war against our people. Therefore, our government must act in defense of our people. Today, we are the world rape capital in the whole world. Number one is South Africa. That must come to an end. That nonsense of rape must come to an end. The nonsense of GBV must come to an end. The nonsense of drugs being transported by police vans must come to an end. And police working with criminals and drug laws to distribute nyaupe and drugs in our communities under the EFF, that is going to come to an end. We are not going to be friends with criminals. When a criminal takes out a gun, we will not give that criminal a rose. We will meet fire by fire, because this country must be defended against the criminals. We want all the children to walk freely on the streets without being scared that they can be raped by a criminal. Fighters, we are going to hire more police from amongst yourself, the youth of South Africa, to go and look after the streets of South Africa. When I came here, I did not meet any police van anywhere. The first van I meet is here. I'm like, what is this police van doing here? Because here there are no criminals here. This is a peaceful meetings. They must go there and fight criminals out there. We don't need them here. Someone is calling a police station now. They say there is no van. Van is here of the police doing what here we don't know. So police must go and fight criminals out there and work for our people. Fighters, we want every house to have water and electricity. We can't say it's a house without a flushing toilet, without water, without electricity. That is the only thing that makes us different from the animals. So we must be different from the animals by giving each and every house a piped, clean, drinkable water, by giving each and every house electricity. Today, Eskom sells electricity to Zimbabwe, to Lesotho and other countries, but we've got houses in South Africa without electricity. We are complaining about load shedding. There are people who are staying in load shedding permanently. They've never known electricity. That must be a sin in South Africa. We are going to stop load shedding. And when they say how, you must tell them we are going to do what they did during the World Rugby Cup. They stopped load shedding during the World Rugby Cup. How did electricity know that there was Rugby World Cup? We are going to do what they are doing now. They are now stopping load shedding because we are going to elections. They are trying to buy you so that you can vote for them on the 29th of May. If you vote for them on the 29th of May, you must know that on the 30th of May, we are going to stage 8 load shedding. So let's go and stop the load shedding on the 29th of May and stop it permanently. We want all the factories here to hire first the locals. I don't understand why the EFF Southern Cape does not go to these big factories and ask, How many of locals are employed here? How many of local business do you give business opportunities here? Because the business opportunities must start from you, the locals, before they are given to the outsiders. We are going to make sure that you benefit from the business opportunities happening here in our municipalities. Fighters, on the 29th of May, we are going to make sober decisions. So you can't make sober decision drunk. We are not drinking on the 29th. We wake up sober, straight to a voting station to go and make a decisive decision. Comrades, on the 29th of May, you are going to an interview. You can't go to interview drunk. Because when you enter there, they are going to give you 3 question papers. And those question papers is ballot papers. What do you want? That's when you start interviewing yourself. What do I want for the future of my children? What do I want for employment of my people? After answering that question, they must hear you saying enough is enough. So that first ballot paper, you vote for the EFF. The second ballot paper, you vote for the EFF. The third ballot paper, you vote for the EFF. Because 29 May 2024 is our 27 April 1994. 2024 is our 1994. Freedom Day is coming on the 29th of May. We must make sure that there is freedom on the 29th of May. Economic freedom must be ushered on the 29th of May. I want all of the Western Cape, when they wake up on the 30th and look on top of the Parliament building, they must see the red flag flying on top of that Parliament, because it will be a liberated zone. Amanda! Amanda! Forward to victory, forward! Forward to victory, forward! Nyabasabana! Nyabasabana! Amanda! Thank you very much.